the PDF downloads of the African Dialogues Volumes 1 and 2 are in the links below the description of this video. Charles. There are those that have been living in a close symbiotic relationship with the all-natural environment on this life level, but they do not know about the real universes and the all is. How would they be rewarded at the end of their earthly lives? Would they return to a very diseased, polluted world that they did not help create? Duane responds, in a way, and this is probably going to be taken wrong, and this is always the challenge, but we're all guilty here, but without taking on the guilt. I see that I've been here lifetimes, and I've contributed in my own way, so I'm stepping up and doing something real now. It's not about coming into this life and saying how you didn't do any of this. By the very fact that we're here and we're agreed means we're a part of it, but you don't need to take that on too heavily. And it's all okay. With the idea of reward, it's how you are to be rewarded for being a good person, and that comes from the God idea that you've been a good person. So God will reward you. God will give you whatever. Even those that follow the Quran and self-destruct purposely for religion feel they're going to have this giant reward in their heaven. There's something better than that. But if you want to chase rewards, then that's your choice. I hear people say how they definitely want to go to the 7th level after this life. I've heard that before, and I've seen people stuck in the astral realm because they're thinking it, but they're not doing it. They're not figuring it out. They're not seeing or placing their intent. There's so much to do with it. The idea of reward is a fallacy. That's an invented marketing ploy by the God promoters of how you will be rewarded. With the new presentation and the Endlisss LifeIS, it gets a lot better than that, to where it's all clean. Once you recognize it, like the sun shining, you won't want rewards. You want to be free of everything and just see the whole of life and take part. There's nothing you need. What reward is it that you want? But everybody has their own ideas of that. Again, these are marketing ploys that have been promoted to get people to think that if they are good people and obey and go to church and pray to their gods, then they will be rewarded. Does that sound fun? You will be back in future lifetimes if that's what you follow, because there's no such thing. There is, in that you will get your reward. You will be back here and be a slave again and chase those same ideas. The new presentation is about referencing the true reality, and from there you decide to recognize it, and eventually you do. There's some that do in some way. You're not just going to recognize it, and that's it, because it's endless. But those that do step up and do something real, they take the risk to contribute in some way. The idea with us is that I don't have followers. There's no such thing. People think that in their minds, how we have followers. We don't have members, and we don't have followers either. That's in people's minds. The idea here is that each person decides for themselves to step up and support us, and we support them. And this is really how the guides are. The guides have been misused and abused, you might say, in the past. How people think the guides are there, and how they're going to do this and that for them. Yes, the guides are there, but they have free will also, and they also decide. They're not your slaves to do your bidding. That's where the little personal self has attitudes. The guides will do a lot, like your parents. As kids become older, they have attitudes, because the parents become their slaves. They are raised by them, then all of a sudden it's different, to where they take the parents for granted. Not everyone, though. The idea here is figuring out how to stand real and supporting them as they support you. One experience I had, and it could have been eons ago, but it doesn't matter when it was where REBISAR came and lifted me up, and I lifted him up. It was a demonstration. In other words, we support each other. That's realistic. We stand real. We stand side by side. This is how you get into the real universes. There's no reward. It's a recognition of standing real. So here's the world dying, and people are looking for what we have, and we're the only ones that make sense with what's going on, and the all-natural environment that implies everything. That's our marketing ploy, but it's beneficial. It's not harmful. There's so much misunderstanding from what has gone before, and even the spiritual paths. But if you want to be with the goody paths, then fine. But realistically, look where they all are. They're all tap-lined. None of it makes sense. It is in the doing. Once you just do something. I don't ask the guides for anything, unless it's something to make my life harder, to take on more. That's what I usually ask them. That I want to do this, but I don't ask. I just do. Sometimes I get myself into trouble, but they see that, and they support me. It's a very interesting experience, and this is why most people can't figure us out, because we're not just doing the norm. The norm that doesn't make sense. What we do really makes sense, and it's so simple. You can have all the rewards you want, but you can do better. But you must take the time to see it. And maybe your personal life is going to struggle here, like the Africans. But I see something that they don't. They have a huge benefit that they're not seeing, but instead they're going to their attitudes. And there's no benefit in that, unless it's an attitude that provides a benefit here. We all have to deal with it. We all came into this life, and now that we're here, it's like getting off the plane when you get somewhere. Like how I first went to Hawaii. I really wanted to go when I was young, so I went over there and didn't know anybody. I suddenly got off the plane and was suddenly there, and felt like getting right back on the plane, but a step at a time. I did get a reference. I took a taxi cab out to a house out there, met a person, and from there they let me stay there, and I figured it out. Once you're here, it is like, what do I do? I understand it, but once you're sincere and take the time, it will reveal itself. But it's a lot. It's like being a scientist. You don't just look through a microscope and figure things out. It will take you your whole life and more. Life is bigger and better than any reward. We have certain things in the physical, of course. You want certain things, a car, house, etc. Fine, but earn it. Figure it out. This is what it is. It's figuring it out. What I've provided with the new presentation is that I've figured a lot of things out for people that they would never see in I don't know how many lifetimes. Here it is, right in front of them, the best reference to the isness itself, which the rest of the world has no idea about. They're all just stuck in physical, astral, one-dimensionalized consciousness, and unconsciously controlled, which they don't see. But they've got a lot of sound good marketing. It's interesting how it is, but you have to be a risk taker, and that's the best part, more so than rewards. If you want a reward, go earn it.